What's going on with Georgia in the transfer portal? Jamon Dumas-Johnson, linebacker for Georgia, is on the move. What does it say about Georgia? What does it say about what's going on there internally? Does it say anything about what's going on there internally? We got some thoughts on this. Just a little news flash. I don't think there's a dysfunctional thing going on at Georgia. Just in case anybody was worried, I think Georgia's still sitting pretty. We'll talk more about this Jamon Dumas-Johnson situation here in just a second. Really quickly, though, make sure you're subscribed. We've got right around 70% of our audience that is yet to subscribe. Totally okay. We would love to have you subscribe, though. If you're already watching, join the party. Hit that button underneath the channel, subscribe, and we'll have a good time, and we'll keep it all locked in here every single day of the year talking college football. So we appreciate y'all for that. So like I said, Jamon Dumas-Johnson, linebacker for Georgia, is on the move. And I want to make this very clear. This is not a Georgia problem. I don't even think this is a Jamon Dumas-Johnson problem. I don't think this is an NIL thing, not a culture thing. Also, I want to make sure this is clear too. This is not indicative of the kind of player that Jamon Dumas-Johnson is. Jamon Dumas-Johnson, or JDJ, as I guess I'll call him for the rest of this video, finalist for the Butkus Award last year for the best linebacker in the country. Yeah, dude can play some ball. Multiple outlets a season ago tabbed him as a first-team All-American. Got a national title for his efforts a season ago as well. Like, I just want to make sure this is very clear. Jamon Dumas-Johnson, JDJ, he can play some ball now, okay? He's got a resume. He's got some skins on the wall. So the reason this is happening from the outside looking in, my feel on this is the way that his season went this year with getting dinged up kind of cracked the door open a little bit for some other cats to get some burn at linebacker position. And typically a guy of Jamon Dumas-Johnson's stature, when you get dinged up, if you're a first-team All-American, pretty much anywhere else in the country, you're more than fine to take your time getting back, get back on the field, walk right back to your spot and say, yeah, I'm a first-team All-American, I'm a Butkus Award finalist, I think I'm just fine walking back into my spot. That's everywhere else. The problem here with this situation is Georgia is not like everywhere else. Georgia's linebacker room is the deepest in the country. And so my feel on this is, if you're JDJ and you're seeing the writing on the wall and seeing the way that those young freshmen played last season between Raylan Wilson and CJ Allen, those dudes that have a ton of potential and played pretty well in some action last season and last year, you're like, okay, where does it stand for me when it comes to the next season? Because the feel for me, again, is if Jamon Dumas-Johnson is in a spot where he's splitting snaps as a senior with some young cats, that's tough. That's tough personally. That's tough on, the overall projection for your draft stock, I would have to imagine. Like, I wonder if that's a concern. Again, I don't know. I'm speculating here. But if you're a Georgia fan, obviously this is a bummer to see JDJ go. Like, nobody's ever saying this is a positive to lose a first-team All-American linebacker. But I would also say this. There is nobody better that has an understanding of what's going on in that linebacker room than Jamon Dumas-Johnson. And if he feels like, hey, coming this next season, I might be splitting snaps with some guys that were true freshmen a season ago, I don't know if I'm a fan of that. What does that say about those two true freshmen? What does that say about Raylan Wilson and CJ Allen and their ability? If this coaching staff, Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann, Will Muschamp, they do defense for a living. I understand Kirby Smart's a head coach, but let's not kid ourselves. They know what defensive football is. They know good linebackers when they see it. And if there's not this promise to Jamon Dumas-Johnson or JDJ of like, hey, we're going to make sure that you have that spot 100%, you're getting all the snaps, what does that say from their standpoint of what they think of those two linebackers? And that's not to say anything about Jamon Dumas-Johnson doing anything wrong or like it's his fault he got hurt. Of course it's not. It's just kind of the unfortunate reality of the game of football that you are in the deepest linebacker room in the country and having to take a step back for a little bit, opening that door, has a higher impact on your playing time going forward than it would anywhere else in the country by nature of those two individuals. So it's not addition by subtraction. That's not what I'm saying here at all. You hate to lose him. I promise you, if Georgia could keep him in-house, I have a very strong feeling they would do that. But going back to what we were saying the entirety of this segment, you have two enormously talented true freshman linebackers that are going to just keep getting better, that have so much ability, and that are going to make sure that the Georgia standard they have defensively stays where it's at. So all that's to say, you feel for Jamon Dumas-Johnson. This is surprising to me, at least, when you're looking at where this Georgia team is, the Georgia defense is, and what Jamon Dumas-Johnson was for that team for several years now. But at the end of the day, the standard is way up there at the University of Georgia. That talent level is obviously second to none when it comes to what they have in that linebacker room, and you're seeing just a product of the environment now with 2 freshmen taking advantage of their opportunities, and Jamon Dumas-Johnson saying, you know what, I don't want to split snaps. Who can blame him? If you're looking for a spot for JDJ in the future, we say it on here all the time. We look right to the hometown, we look to the DMV area. Maryland would make some sense. We'll see where he ends up at, and we'll obviously talk about it going forward here. But again, Jamon Dumas-Johnson on the move. Raylan Wilson and CJ Allen, you have to believe, will get a higher volume of snaps here going forward. And that Georgia defense, I fully expect to stay exactly where they are from the performance level. Keep it locked right here, talking ball every single day. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.